Well, hello to our savvy solopreneurs. This is your host, Karen Kaliff, and I am so excited to be here today with Tracy Weinzaffel. She is such an interesting person, and you guys are going to have such a great time hearing her story. Tracy is an artist, and she has taken her business she has created a business around her art, and I know we have so many creative professionals out there that really want to see how to do that. She's great with capturing videos that help people explore her art, and she also loves to just share her passion with others. She's a published multimedia medium artist, and she does live online workshops, and she also works in a professional setting an awful lot. So she just has such a passion for the craft industry, and it's just so exciting to have you here today. So Tracy, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Karen. I'm just going to let you do all of the talking about me. That's amazing.
Well, that's good. I'm happy to talk about you as much as you would like, but I think it might be more helpful if maybe you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you've done with your art and what you've done with your business.
Well, thank you. As you said, my name is Tracy Weinzaffel, and you said it perfectly because most people can't say my last name. But I do own my own studio that is home-based. I actually have a dedicated studio and office that I go into from, I would say, 6 a.m. to whenever the kids have to be picked up, to 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. to midnight. My hours are not standard, but I'm a licensed artist, meaning I have products out there that are licensed with my name on it. And I also work and represent companies such as, number one, Deco Art Paint Company. And they are really an awesome paint company that I was fortunate enough to work with and use in all of my projects. And I demonstrate and go to trade shows. So I was able to incorporate really a company that supports my art and what I love to do. And my passion has always been teaching. I thought I would be a teacher, but instead my parents made me promise to go off to college and get something that would be a good basis, and I did. I got a degree in building construction management, and then once I had my kids, decided it was time to stay at home and pursue my passion, which I've been fortunate enough to turn into my business.
I love that. And what a great story you have that you started off in you teaching, building construction management, art. Boy, you've tried a lot of different things, haven't you?
Yeah, I was the kid during the summers who would be in the basement with the chalkboard teaching to my imaginary students, and my parents always thought I'd go into teaching. And then when I hit college, I really excelled in building construction management, and I also have a business background. So I was fortunate enough, I went to Michigan State, and then I bought a one-way ticket to San Diego because the weather is so much better and construction was so much better. But during that time, I was very artistic. I always was artistic, and it was kind of on the back burner, and I tried many a hobby, many a craft, and once I had my twins, I was kind of forced to get out of the construction business because it was hard to be on job sites carrying around two babies, and decided I wanted to stay home, and I wanted to stay home with them, but I still wanted to make money, and I wanted to pursue my passion. So it was just kind of a combination of being forced to, leaving the career market, which was scary, and I loved my job. It was stressful, but it was great. And I had a lot of responsibility, to coming home and figuring out how can I turn what I do into a business. And it started small by just saying, I just want to afford, X number of dollars. I remember that amount, $75 a month. I want to, and this was, 20 years ago, I want to be able to get $75 a month so I can put that $75 back into art supplies. And that was my budget. And then that turned into realizing, holy, I can do more with this.
Wow. Well, okay, so a small digression here, and then there's so much that you just said that I want to get back to. So you and I have a couple things in common. I actually wanted to go to Michigan State. I applied there and didn't end up going because it was too far away from home. I'm such a baby. And my dad was a commercial real estate developer. So you and I we're like parallel paths. That is so funny. So, but having said that, I love the part about the $75 and wanting to buy art supplies. Can you just talk to our audience a little bit? You know, somebody who is creative, it seems like there is such a gulf between being creative or having a creative hobby and then turning it into something that is sustainable. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges that a creative solopreneur might face?
Yeah, there are just a number of them. I was really lucky because I've always had a business background, and being an artist, it's lovely to be creative. It really is lovely. But if you don't have a sense of marketing and business to back that up, I mean, unless you're purely into it for the hobby, but my thought process was I really want to turn this into a business. So you have to be business minded, and you have to actually, I would say, the creativity for me is I'm so lucky because I feel like I have that. But the business end, I have to work that. The social media end of it, I have to work that. The marketing, I am my own boss. I am my own marketing person. I am my own customer service person. So in the beginning, it was, you know, I kind of figured out, wow, I love these companies. And back in the day, there were lots of magazines. So it was great. You used to get paid for publications. So that was where my money started from. And then I realized my marketing background from business, I could be doing more. I could be doing more. And I had to kind of keep reinventing myself and reinventing the wheel to where, you know, people used to say, you're so lucky, you just get to stay home and paint pretty pictures. And I kind of laugh and I just go, oh my goodness. If you saw what I do in a normal day, it's not staying home and painting pretty pictures. I really wish that was the case because my life would be so much easier. But you have to have a mindset of, this is my business. This also became something that I've been forced into some things, and I'm not great with change. But for example, I went through a divorce, and it was kind of like, wait a minute, now I'm at a crossroads. I either go back to what earned my living in construction and I was good at it, or I take this a step further. And I did. And I had other jobs. I had other opportunities that I did on the side in order to keep doing what I love to do. So it's never been 8 to 5 for me. And I did have to take on other jobs that would sustain me being an artist and growing my business. Mm-hmm. And that's something that a lot of people maybe don't want to do, don't recognize they have to do, but really that incident or that, you know, life change, that divorce made me think I either move forward in what I'm doing or I give it up because it's not mm-hmm. going to sustain my family. And my family, I will tell you this, my family has always been my focus. I have 4 kids, 19, 18. I'm stepmom to 2, older, and then I have a 19-year-old. But I have an 18-year-old, and then I have twins that are 14. So my one focus of staying home was so that I could be there for them, and I've never changed that focus. And I could go to sports, I could do this, but that would mean sometimes sitting at the sporting events and being on my iPad or my phone and working on marketing. Or, you know, I've never been just one, you know, and that's, I hate to say that. I've always said, I got to be 100% present at everything I do. Multitasking is one of my things. But that's where I say I wasn't willing to give it up and just go back to my 9 to 5. I really wanted to pursue this passion, and I was doing anything I could to stick with it.
That is really, really, really interesting, and I love how you know, your life affected your choices, and I think that happens with so many of us. So let me ask you this, Tracy: have you had people come to you and say, you know, I love doing this particular craft or this particular hobby or a passion for painting or something in the art, but I have no idea how to take it to the next level? I mean, for instance, I know quite a few people that paint beautiful oil paintings, and then they beat their head against the wall trying to get them in local shows, right? Tell me a little bit about what kind of advice you would give to somebody who says, you know what, I love working in the arts, I want to turn it into a business. Where would they start? What do they do first?
Well, I would say knock on every door. Look at everything as an opportunity. I did go to local art shows, and I decided I really don't want to spend every Saturday, Sunday of my life baking in the heat, and having, people say, oh, I could go home and do this myself, or would you take $5? It was kind of like, and to me, that was a door that I opened, I went through it, and I went, that's not for me. And I would say you have to be different, number one, and you have to show that passion. You have to show, like I said, I've gone many different avenues, and I've worked with many wonderful companies. I have a philosophy of collaboration versus competition. I think the industry is large enough that we all do different things and we all bring different things. It's just like with any business. I mean, we live in the United States, or I just think the opportunities are endless. And if you can make yourself a little bit different and you show that passion and you stay true to you, that's the other thing. I had opportunities that came along and my gut said, don't do them. Or I tried them and I had to say, I'm done. No more. I have to personally shut this door and I got to go look for another one. And I tried that with everything I've done and knocked on, different doors. There was companies I, in the beginning really wanted to work with and showed them I really want to work with you. And I am very loyal and very passionate. So if I'm going to work with something, I'm all in. And that's the thing that I think companies are looking for. I think people who buy your art are looking for. And I think people who look at you and say, I want to be doing that, they're looking for that as well. I can't say I'm, the best mixed media artist. I would never say that. But what I do have is a passion to share it, teach it, and see other people do it well. So when I'm teaching, that is where I am most happy in sharing it. I think if somebody does a piece of art that looks somewhat like mine, it still has them in it. And I have influenced them in some way, in a positive way, because most people are afraid to pick up a paintbrush or a pencil, or they buy all these supplies and they don't know what to do with them. And I say you can't take it with you, because if that's the case, I'm going to need a really big spot in the ground, and I'm going to use it.
And to our savvy solopreneurs, Tracy does some amazing over-the-shoulder video work that she hosts on a weekly basis. It's on Mondays. Is that right? Is your show on Mondays? Okay.
It's called Mixed Media Monday. So if I ever go to Mixed Media Thursday, I'm going to probably have a lot of, it's Mixed Media Monday, and it's every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I kind of show everybody what you buy, you should be using. So even if you don't have the same exact colors, the same exact supplies, we all have that creative side. It's I paint an entire piece in an hour, and I'm a mom. So before that show goes on, I don't have time to prep. I usually don't have what I'm going to be painting in my mind. And I am yelling at the kids to take the trash can out, preparing dinner for everybody. And at 6 o'clock, it's my time. And it's now has a following where it's wonderful, because I hear during the day via Facebook, I've put the kids to bed, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. And now I can watch Mixed Media Monday. And it's a time where other people are making that creative time. We all have so much to do that even if we just get that 1 hour a week and it starts on Monday, what a great way to start your week.
Yeah, and what I was chuckling about is when you said you have so much stuff that you can't take it with you, because to my solopreneurs, if you watch Tracy's show, she shows her studio, and honestly, it is packed. You have everything in the whole world in there, and it's amazing, and I love it because you were so real in it. So it's really fantastic. To our solopreneurs, definitely tune in because it's worth it. So tell me a little bit about how you have used technology in order to get your message out there. Can we just do a little pivot here, because you do such a great job with your Monday night show, and I know you're doing a lot of social media marketing. Can you talk a little bit about marketing strategies for artists and using technology for artists? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'd love to. Social media. That was one thing when I quit working outside of my home and my career. The one thing I promised myself was always stay up on technology. So I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I didn't lose that. I do a lot of Facebook, and I'm really very protective of my life, my kids, my family. I do have a personal page, but I invite people to friend me on Facebook. I love that. But I run my business side of it out of Tracy Weinzaffel Studios on Facebook. And I share, pieces of me, because that's my art, but I really use things like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I just looked the other day and I thought, wow, I have that many followers on Pinterest. It's not something I actively go look at, but I do make sure that I'm aware of what's going on. The other thing I do is I have a website that's always been my basis. I love to blog. I love to write. And I know blogging has had its ups and downs, but I feel that writing is one of my best expressions, as well as the art that supports it. So if I'm having a creative slump, I put that in my blog, because so many people go through that and they think every day I wake up and I can just paint pretty flowers and the creativity is endless. The truth of the matter is life affects me so much. And most artists are like that. Most creative beings either work their best when they're most happy or most sad. So I like to share that on my blog. And I make sure that I put that out there, and that has grown a beautiful life of its own. Again, that's something that takes work, so sometimes I'm sitting in bed on my laptop typing. I'm also guarded about my personal life. I said I went through a divorce. I don't believe in airing dirty laundry. Nobody wants to hear it, see it, view it, because that doesn't represent me. What I want to, people always say, your artwork is so happy, you're always so happy. No, I'm not. My family will, and I'm honest about that. I mean, who is always happy? And but I don't feel the need to portray that in my marketing, because it's not me. So I would say social media marketing and being mindful of who you are and presenting that person. That's what people want to see. And that is where I think the marketing has really rung true to me, because I will share on Friday that I'm happy it's Friday and I'm sitting out back enjoying a glass of wine, reading a book, which happens so infrequently. But I also share, my kids' sports. People have to know I'm not allowed to cocoon myself in my studio as much as I want to.
Yeah, that is so great. I love your idea about being who you are, and then also just kind of putting at least a portion of that out there on social media. So it sounds like for creatives who want to build a business, that social media and the blogging is really a critical portion. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, and you have to be, mindful too. For example, manufacturers and companies, they want to see that too. They want to know somebody that they're working with is, not going to air every day about their bad day, because, we all have them. And I'm not saying being fake, because genuinely I do have a philosophy in life that there is always something to be grateful for, even if you have to dig through it to find it. So I just try to ignore the other minutia that surround it and, deal with that, or, deal with my life and my kids and my busy and my everything. You see it. If you see me, 1 minute in my studio and the next minute driving 2 hours to a baseball game, you're probably going to go, wow, she's doing the same thing I'm doing. That's the thing that I always am mindful of, representing myself in a way that I'm proud to represent my business. The other thing about that, my business is my name. So customer service-wise, that's important. I want somebody to know that if they're going to reach out, they're going to get me. Of course, it's not always possible, and I'm now looking at an assistant who helps me do some things. And I have so much support. I have moderators on Mixed Media Monday. And again, they represent me and they know that. And they know how important it is that I find that important. And I want everybody to feel like they're reaching me. Not after 5, not on Friday when I'm, sitting there reading my book. No.
Right. So as we kind of wrap up here, if you have one last tip that you would want to leave our creative and artistic solopreneurs with who are interested in taking their business to the next level, what's the one thing you'd tell them to go out and do today?
Don't give up. Because when one door closes, look for the other 3 that open. And I know that's a cliche and everybody says it, but don't have your blinders on, because I can remember in those life instances where I was forced to take those leaps and I didn't want to do it. If I wouldn't have had my eyes open for the next opportunity, I'd be kicking myself in the shorts right now. And you have no idea when that's going to turn out. And it's going to be at the time we least expect it. So I would say don't give up. And if you're forcing something, it's not working. If you're forcing to work with somebody and you can feel that pushback, it is not working. Go somewhere else.
That is really, really good advice. So let me ask you this, Tracy, if people would like to connect with you, how would they go about finding you?
Well, the best part is if you Google Weinzapfel, WEINZAPFEL, TracyWeinzapfelStudios.com is the name of my company, and on my website. You can also search me on Facebook, which you'll easily find me there. Twitter, the same thing. Pretty much Tracy Weinzapfel Studios will get you to me. info@TracyWeinzapfelStudios.com is my email address.
Perfect.
And that's another thing. Have a unique name. Somebody once asked me, why have you never given up your maiden name? And I'm like, any variation of Weinzapfel comes up me.
That is fantastic. So to all of our, first of all, Tracy, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so glad that you took the time to be with us. So thank you from me and from all of our Savvy Solopreneurs. And to all of our Savvy Solopreneurs who are listening today, if you have any questions for Tracy, you have the information to go ahead and find her. If you will just look back in your daily email, you'll find the link to not only this audio, which is where you found it in the first place, but you'll also find information about her and a link to her website where you can get a lot more information. So to all of our Savvy Solopreneurs, thank you so much for being here today, and we will talk to you next time.